Let's stop sugarcoating this. You owe it to yourself. Not to them, not to the crowd, not to the doubters, the haters, the critics. You owe it to you, because at the end of your life, you won't be judged by who clapped for you. You'll be judged by who you could have been if you had just stopped playing small. And too many people are living their whole lives trying to be what others expect, trying to fit in, trying to stay safe, trying to make people comfortable. But deep down you feel it. There's something more inside you. There's another level you haven't touched yet. And guess what? You owe it to yourself to go get it. Because this world will hand you excuses all day long. It'll tell you to rest when you should be rising. It'll tell you to slow down when you should be stepping up. It'll give you reasons to settle, but you've got reasons to soar. You owe it to the kid you used to be, the one with big dreams and no doubts, the one who believed you were meant for something great. And you owe it to the version of you that wakes up every morning with a gut feeling that there's more than this, that there's something deeper than the 9 to 5, the scrolling, the comfort zone. You owe it to the version of you that cries behind closed doors because you know you're not giving your all, because you know you're watching your greatness die in small decisions. You can lie to everyone else, but you can't lie to your soul. It knows. It knows when you're coasting. It knows when you're cutting corners. It knows when you're letting fear run the show, and it will keep reminding you until you do something about it. So let me say it again with fire. You owe it to yourself to show up, to stop hiding, to stop waiting, to stop making excuses, to stop letting your story be written by everything but your own hand. You don't need permission to become who you were born to be. You need a decision, you need discipline, you need honesty. You need to wake up and say, enough is enough. I'm not wasting one more day being less than I know I can be. Because nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to chase your dream for you. Nobody's going to fight for you harder than you fight for yourself. You owe it to yourself to stop living on potential and start living on purpose. You owe it to yourself to stop making excuses sound like wisdom, because we're good at dressing up fear and calling it logic. We say things like, I'm just being realistic. I'm waiting for the right time. I'll do it when things settle down. But let's be real. You're not being wise. You're being scared. And scared people don't build legacies. Do you know what builds legacies? Courage, consistency, commitment. You owe it to yourself to stop hiding behind the lie of someday, because someday isn't on the calendar. Someday becomes never, and never, that's where regret lives. Regret doesn't hit when you try and fail. Regret hits when you know you could have, but didn't. When you see someone else living a life that looks like the one you were too afraid to pursue. When you hear someone speaking a message that was buried in you. When you watch opportunities pass by that were once in your hands. You owe it to yourself to become someone you respect, to stop breaking promises to yourself, to stop negotiating with comfort, to stop playing the victim when you have the power to rewrite the script. And listen, you've been through some things. Life hasn't been easy. You've been hurt, betrayed, overlooked, underestimated. But that pain is not your prison. It's your platform. Because once you survive it, you're not supposed to sit in it. You're supposed to rise from it. You owe it to the version of you who didn't quit. The one who kept showing up when it was hard. The one who got out of bed when they didn't feel like it. The one who cried but still moved. Who doubted but still tried. Who failed but didn't fold. You owe that version of you a future that makes all that struggle worth it. Not easy, not perfect, but worth it. Because success isn't about proving something to other people. It's about proving something to yourself. Proving that you had more in you. Proving that you were worth the fight. Proving that the pain didn't win. Proving that you remembered who you are. So from here on out, you move different. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I never try? Because not trying is the real tragedy. And you owe it to yourself to never live with that. You owe it to yourself to stop asking small questions and expecting big answers. Stop asking, how do I stay comfortable? Start asking, how do I grow? Stop asking, what's the easiest way? Start asking, what's the way that builds me? Because comfort doesn't build character. Pressure does. Sacrifice does. Discipline does. You owe it to yourself to stop chasing easy. Because easy is expensive. It costs you time. It costs you progress. It costs you your edge. The people who become great, they don't ask for easy. They ask for strength. They ask for clarity. They ask for wisdom in the fire, not a way out of it. You owe it to yourself to build discipline even when nobody's clapping, even when the results are slow, even when it's boring, repetitive, unseen. Because results aren't born in hype, they're born in habits. And if your habits don't honor your vision, you're lying to yourself. You can talk about what you want, post about what you want, pray for what you want, but if your patterns contradict your purpose, then your progress will always be delayed. You owe it to yourself to stop waiting for motivation, because motivation is a moment, discipline is a lifestyle. The real question isn't, do you want it? The real question is, are you willing to suffer for it? Because greatness comes with a cost. You can't swipe your card and get it delivered. You've got to bleed for it, you've got to sweat for it, you've got to get uncomfortable for it. And if you're not willing to pay the price, don't be surprised when you stay stuck. You owe it to yourself to do hard things, to sit with the discomfort, to get up early, to say no to the old life, to shut down the distractions, to be misunderstood. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them walk away. You're not here to be liked, you're here to be legendary. And legendary doesn't come from doing what's convenient, it comes from doing what's required. So ask yourself, what do I owe to my future? What do I owe to the vision inside me? What do I owe to the person I said I'd become? And the answer, everything. You owe it to yourself to stop quitting on yourself. Not every battle is going to feel good. Not every moment is going to feel inspired. But if you only show up when it's easy, you'll never become who you were called to be. And let's be honest, you've started things before. You've made promises, you've written goals, you've told people, this is my year. But then what? Discomfort showed up. Delay showed up. Self-doubt knocked on the door. And you walked away from what you said mattered. But that ends here. You owe it to yourself to finish what you start, to follow through on your word, to become the kind of person who doesn't just set goals, but honors them. Because talk is cheap, plans are cheap. Execution, that's where the power is. You owe it to yourself to be consistent, to get up again, to try again, to show up again. Even when the results aren't coming yet, even when nobody notices, even when you feel invisible, you still show up. Because you're building something, and what you're building takes time. Don't you dare let temporary emotion make permanent decisions. Don't you dare throw away the long term just because the short term got tough. You owe it to yourself to suffer for a season so you can thrive for a lifetime. Because every step forward, every small win, every day you didn't give up, that's momentum, that's strength, that's you changing. You owe it to yourself to become resilient, to stop folding under pressure, to stop blaming the world for what you're not changing in yourself. Life will test you, people will fail you, obstacles will meet you, but you owe it to yourself to keep going, to keep growing, to keep showing up for the vision God gave you, even when it feels like nothing's working. Because here's what they don't tell you. The blessing is often buried under repetition, under the boring days, under the silent seasons. But if you quit, you'll never get to the breakthrough. So keep digging, keep climbing, keep becoming. You owe that to yourself. You owe it to yourself to stop betraying your potential. Every time you say yes to distraction, you say no to destiny. Every time you lower your standard to fit in, you distance yourself from who you're becoming. And the truth is, deep down, you know it. You know when you're wasting time. You know when you're doing just enough to survive but not enough to grow. You know when you're entertaining people and habits that pull you backward. So stop pretending, stop justifying, stop giving the best of your energy to things that don't feed your future. You owe it to yourself to protect your mind, to protect your peace, to protect your vision like your life depends on it, because it does. You're not here to impress people. You're not here to collect likes. You're not here to live small so they feel comfortable. You're here to elevate, to rise, to change the trajectory of everything that comes after you. That takes sacrifice, that takes boundaries, that takes saying no to good so you can say yes to great. You owe it to yourself to stop tolerating mediocrity in others and in yourself. It's time to raise the standard in how you think, in how you work, in how you speak to yourself. No more playing victim. No more blaming the past. No more clinging to who you were. You're not that person anymore. And you owe it to yourself to act like it. You owe it to the people who believe in you. You owe it to the version of you that survived storms you didn't talk about. You owe it to the future version of you who's waiting to meet the strongest, most disciplined version of you possible. But that version doesn't arrive by accident. They show up through effort, through ownership, through accountability. You owe it to yourself to stop running from responsibility and run toward it. Because responsibility is the door to power. When you take full ownership of your life, that's when things change. That's when the tables turn. That's when you go from stuck to unstoppable. So don't look for someone to rescue you. Be the one who steps up. Be the one who takes control. Be the one who breaks the pattern and builds something new. You owe it to yourself to become the one who made it happen, not the one who watched, not the one who waited, not the one who wasted time, but the one who remembered the mission and showed up bold. You owe it to yourself to stop shrinking in rooms you were built to shift, to stop second-guessing your voice, to stop watering down your brilliance so you don't make waves, to stop pretending like you don't know what you carry. Because you do. You know what you've been through. You know what you've survived. You know what it took just to stand where you're standing right now. And yet, you're still asking for permission, still waiting for someone to invite you, still hiding behind humility because you're afraid of being misunderstood. Let me tell you something. Bold doesn't mean arrogant. Bold means aligned. It means you know who you are. It means you remember what you prayed for. It means you walk in rooms not to prove something, but to fulfill something. You owe it to yourself to stop playing quiet when life has given you a message, to stop letting people with small vision minimize your big calling. You weren't sent to blend in. You weren't called to repeat cycles. You were called to change the temperature of every room you walk into. So stop walking in like you're lucky to be there. Walk in like you belong, not because you're better, but because you've battled, you've healed, you've grown, you've earned your place. And no, not everyone's going to understand it. Not everyone's going to celebrate it. Not everyone's going to clap when you rise. But that's not your job. Your job is to be obedient to your gift. Your job is to stop hiding your potential to protect other people's egos. Your job is to shine, even when it's uncomfortable. Because every time you play small to make someone else feel big, you dishonor the calling on your life. And that's not humility. That's fear disguised as humility. And fear will keep you broke. Fear will keep you average. Fear will keep you quiet when the world needs your voice. So speak, show up, move forward. Not because it's easy, but because it's right. Because you owe it to yourself to become who you really are. To finally walk in rooms as the real you. To speak with the weight of your experience. To lead with the fire of your calling. To live like you're not running out of time, because you are. This life isn't a rehearsal. You don't get to come back and try again. You don't get to rewind. So make this count, and make it loud. You owe it to yourself to stop delaying your destiny. Because every time you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," you teach yourself that today doesn't matter. You teach your mind that discipline is optional. You teach your purpose that it's okay to wait, when everything in your soul is saying, "Let's move now." How many more mornings are you going to wake up and scroll before you speak to your own vision? How many more weeks are you going to waste watching people build while you doubt? How many more next Mondays are you going to wait for before you become serious? You owe it to yourself to stop watching the clock and start owning the moment. Because time isn't waiting for you to feel ready. And life isn't going to pause while you gather your confidence. This moment right here, it's not rehearsal. It's not warm up. It's the main event. So why are you playing passive? Why are you watching your life like it's someone else's movie? You were given a role. You were given a voice. You were given a set of gifts that nobody else on this planet has in the same way you do. And if you don't use them,